Houston, we have a problem.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
A boy's best friend is his mother.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Silent breed is people!
Yo, Adrian!
Let's put a smile on that face.
I gotta warn you, Clark. They don't play the same games here as they do at the regular casinos.
Royale, too.
Live from our studios in New York City, New York. Welcome to Casino Royale with Cheese. This episode is our celebration of the movies that were number one in 1998. And now welcome our host, Shane Burns.
What's going on, buddy?
What's up, man?
Not too much. This is Shane Burns, and I make up half of the people that perform on Casino Royale with Cheese, the internet show where we discuss movies that were number one at the box office exactly 20 years ago. Today I'm joined by my good buddy Mike.
What's up?
Mike Chandler. We'll throw your last name out there
don't
too,
do that.
right?
Come on.
That is a safety hazard.
So I seriously thought about attaching the last name to it or not, but we post and comment and tag each other and everything. So
on Facebook,
our name's already out there. Yeah.
Meh, whatever. Every podcast puts their name out there.
And besides, all three listeners know who we are.
Right? Yeah, they know exactly who we are.
You okay with that big mug of beer you got there, buddy?
Let's talk about that for a second. First off, what are you sipping on here?
Well, are we going to mention our sponsors?
Why not?
They're not.
We
paying
give them
for
money.
this
They might
shit.
as well give us some. You know.
I'm drinking some burr, some Tank 7 Farmhouse Brewery.
Tank 7.
Yeah.
I have the Leinenkugel grapefruit shandy.
Fancy.
I pulled out my crappy little eyesore of a plastic football out of the
Second time that cup has made an appearance on the show.
Twice now. Today we've got a special thing going. This isn't a regular episode. I thought about it for a little bit, and I was thinking, you know what? Our show is very closely tied into the calendar year, you know?
Big time.
Yeah.
We talked about the number one movies exactly 20 years ago. Yeah.
So we thought we would celebrate this New Year's Eve with you guys and talk about what we thought, looking back on this past year, what we thought was the best and what was the worst of the year.
Happy New Year, motherfuckers!
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, we're going to talk about our best five and worst five of 1998.
Yeah.
We also have a couple honorable mentions on each list, but for the most part, we're just going to talk about what we liked and hated about the movie industry in 98.
First off, I'm going to say the things that I hated way overshadowed the things that I love about this year.
Making my best five was way harder than my worst five.
Absolutely. I was able to come up with, like, my top four just right off the cuff, you know, easily.
Yeah.
And I was sitting back, like, for my top five, I was thinking, well, that was fine. I'm probably not going to watch it again, but, I mean, it wasn't a bad movie, you know? It was kind of where I was at, so it was one of those things, man.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
I will say that ordinarily speaking, at any given time, if there's a Pixar movie that comes out, there's no reason it shouldn't be in my top five. And this one, nope. So, just a little spoiler alert there.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yep. So, yeah, we have the top and bottom five. We haven't yet decided who's going to start off. I thought I would do an impromptu game of rock, paper, scissors here. Winner goes first.
Oh, shit. Rochambeau.
Yeah.
All right.
You ready?
Yep. Wait, we're supposed to say rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yes.
That's part of the game.
Okay.
Not just like a couple of monkeys pounding on their hands.
Sitting there beating the shit out of each other.
Fucking hurt my palm for no reason.
Mike's over there spanking his monkey.
All right, here we go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, we tied. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. We tied again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, we tied again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I won, motherfucker. Paper,
Mike
beats
got
rock.
paper, I got rock.
So you go first.
Oh, I go first.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought winner went first.
No, winner chooses.
Oh, that's true. That's
I
valid.
defer to the second.
You're like the guy on The Price is Right. Like, no, that showcase sucks. Go, give me what you got up there.
Yeah, I want the boat. I don't want a Honda Civic. Give me the boat.
Instead, yeah, they're like, here's a Prius. You know what? You can keep the fucking Prius.
I'd rock a
Thank you
Prius,
very
dude,
much.
just for the bank account purposes.
I would take a Prius and I would stop at the dealership on the way home and be like, yo, what you gonna give me for this Prius? It's got 4 miles on it.
So, quick side note: a good friend of mine, his
Yeah.
mom actually won a showcase on Price is Right,
Okay.
and part of her showcase was a Trans Am.
Are we talking Drew Carey era or Bob Barker era?
Bob Barker era.
Oh,
This was
okay.
like in like 83
This
or
is a ways
84.
back. Yeah, I knew it wasn't recent because Trans Ams haven't been a thing for a while.
Right, but she won a Pontiac Firebird Trans Am.
Okay.
And they were her husband was like a young pastor
Oh, okay.
making no money,
Right.
and so she took the cash value. That's an actual option.
Oh, I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah, you don't have to take the car.
Oh.
You take the cash value, you pay the taxes,
Right.
and then you go home with your cash.
I wonder what's more, the property tax or the...
You pay the same amount of tax no matter what.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
gift.
Right. I got you. Like a prize tax
Yeah,
overall.
there is a federal like prize tax.
Okay.
It's an actual thing.
Yeah.
I think it's like retarded, like 37% too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's found money.
Yep.
Jeez, yeah.
But anyways, yeah, no, I'd rock a Prius, man. They got great gas mileage.
They do have good gas mileage.
It's a hell of a commuter car.
You know, in my line of work, you don't see a whole lot of smaller vehicles like that, but there's this guy, no joke, drives a Fiat to and from every day because, hey, you know what? He isn't paying anything for the gas on that thing.
Hell yeah.
You know? So, but that's that.
How's life been?
It's going all right.
Yeah.
I got to use the fireplace earlier. Mike was present to see that.
Oh my God.
Why don't you tell everybody what happened, Mike?
All right. This is
Keep
how,
in mind, this is, as a grown adult, the house that me and my wife have purchased, this is the first fireplace we've ever had. And this is the first, this evening was my first time lighting up a gas fireplace ever.
Well, it showed.
Yeah.
So this is how bright my co-host is.
Yeah.
He doesn't have one of those little keys you need to turn on the gas in your fireplace.
Nope.
So he was like,
Got a
you
little
know,
socket wrench.
yeah, I do like manual labor for a living. I got tools in my car. So he goes out, grabs a socket wrench. It works. He cranks up the gas and walks away.
I didn't have a lighter.
Walks away without turning the gas back off. Just walks away. Comes back over, and his fireplace has glass doors on it. So he opens up the glass doors, and I see him trying to light the fireplace. I'm like, hey, you gonna turn the gas on? Or I said, you gotta turn the gas on first. And he said to me, the gas is already on. I said, wait, the gas is on? Kaboom!
Napalm the living room.
Shane was, no joke, no exaggeration, engulfed in a naturally gas-fueled fireball.
Mike was like, you move so slow.
Just made like a goofy-ass look on his face, like,
Whoa. This sucks. Yeah.
it was like directly from the Goofy movie.
Right. Stay tuned for that one.
He's got his
Pretty funny.
nearly newborn son on the couch.
Right. He's over there chilling. Apparently, I singed the back of my hair.
And all the hair
on
off
my
your left hand.
hair's gone. And it kind of hurts a little bit, but it's to be expected.
Called a flash
I was
burn.
on fire. You know? So, needless to say, everybody's fine. We're
I can't
good.
talk a whole lot of trash. I don't have much better track record with fire.
Oh, okay. Well, fair
I've
enough.
fallen into a bonfire too in my life.
Yeah. You doing all right today there? Mike just got a copy of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
So y'all are lucky he's here at all right now.
For real. Because literally I took it to the house, put it in, and you know, I don't know if PlayStations are the same as Xbox, but you have to like download game content.
Indeed.
And it's 87 gigabytes.
See, I don't even think I'm going to have enough on my PS4
2 discs.
memory-wise to fucking load it up.
2 discs to load it. And then I was like, let me see what like the opening, they all
Cutscene or whatever.
They all have new cutscenes like to open up these
Yeah.
big games. So I was like, I'm
Right.
gonna watch this cutscene. So I signed into my account and it was like, Red Dead Redemption 2 needs an update. This may take a while. It literally said that to me.
Right? Grab some popcorn, motherfucker.
So I started the update and I got in the car and headed this way.
Yeah. Fuck it.
It'll be there when I get home.
It will be. But that's all good stuff. No, things are going all right, man.
So what'd you think about the year of 1998 in the movie world?
1998 overall wasn't bad, but it was bad for movies. Me and Mike were talking earlier. We went to a convenience store around the corner, and we saw a big old tall boy of Surge, and I was like, that's what I really should be drinking right now, you know?
And we actually talked about Surge at one point during this year.
Yeah, there you go. We did, because I
don't
went to your
remember.
school.
Yeah, they did, but I don't remember why we talked about Surge.
Oh, who the fuck knows?
Was it in a movie?
No, it wasn't. I have a feeling it had something to do with Lost in Space, because me and a buddy of mine, that same old dude.
Oh, yeah.
We'd always stay up and drink Surge. I was telling Mike that we stayed up and we'd like watch the original Star Wars trilogy and pound Surge all night, and then like, you know, Mike said that we were save some pussy for the rest of us.
Yeah. Out there just killing it.
Right.
So just to for those of you who haven't listened to every episode or maybe skipped a few,
Here we go.
I'm just going to run down the list, okay?
Yes.
There's 27 movies that were number one in
We're
1998.
not talking about movies that we picked.
No.
These are just number ones from 98. And Titanic, you don't make the cut either.
Well, unfortunately, Titanic was released in 97.
97, yep.
I'll just go ahead and say it would have made my top 5 for 98.
Easily. Slim pickings on the top 5.
Yeah. But we did start the show already post-release of Titanic.
Yep.
So I'm going to go down the list. There's 27 movies that were number one. So about half the year, it was a new number one.
Right. Thanks again, Titanic.
Yeah. So Lost in Space, City of Angels, The Big Hit, He Got Game, Deep Impact, Godzilla, The Truman Show, The X-Files, Dr. Dolittle, Armageddon, Lethal Weapon 4, The Mask of Zorro, Saving Private Ryan, Blade, There's Something About Mary, Rounders, Rush Hour, Ants, Practical Magic, Pleasantville, John Carpenter's Vampires, The Waterboy, The Rugrats Movie, A Bug's Life, Star Trek Insurrection, You've Got Mail, and Patch Adams.
1998, you should be ashamed of yourself. That is a horrible run of movies. I don't know. I don't even know what the number, like, say we went with, like, the number 2 box office from 98. I don't know if that would have fared any better, but, like, I mean, granted, we are just talking about number ones, but these are the movies that people went and saw, you know?
These had the biggest draw.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's a pretty weak hand right there, my friend.
I mean, just reading the list, and I'm looking up, I mean, I think you used the term slim pickings earlier. You're not joking.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what I was thinking. When we were doing the list, I know that me and you, on our top 5, the number 1 and number 2 spot is probably going to be pretty fucking close.
I would imagine so.
Yeah. Because what else is there? You know?
If it's not, we really need to examine our relationship.
Yeah, we need to recalibrate that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's all I got to say about it. There's a bunch of dog shit out there, dude. And I know that with you going into it before we watched it, like The Big Hit might have been up there. And then once we did, you're like,
yeah. So,
really bad, you know?
Yeah, I mean, watching some of these movies that, you know, I watched most of them only the one time about 19 or 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And my opinion on most of them changed.
Dr. Dolittle, I know for sure. For me, The X-Files did. Godzilla, I knew all along that was a piece of shit. Yeah, I don't know, man. Probably Blade, I would say. Because I remember liking Blade, and then watching it now, it does not hold up. Rush Hour, that's a big one for me.
Well, we haven't gone through our list yet.
No, we haven't.
So let's not go over every movie that...
Right. But no, it is true, though, that like a bunch of these I hadn't seen since, you know, back in the... Like Dr. Dolittle, I saw it a ton of times, but I hadn't watched it in a long time either, you know? So, awful. But anyway, what's your runner-up? And we're going to start with the shit movies.
Our honorable mentions.
Yeah.
You're first, dude.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. So, all right. For my honorable mention for the worst, number 5, I guess, top 5 worst movies of 98.
Yeah.
My runner-up was going to be the Rugrats movie. And the only reason that it didn't make the cut was because it was mercifully short. you know.
Interesting.
Yeah. The only way that I could compare it to my number 5 movie was like, say for instance, you had to like go through and like somebody cuts a really nasty fart, you know? Well, I would rather sit in the room with the one that doesn't linger as opposed to the one that's there all day, you know? So
Those terrible farts.
yeah, pretty bad. So here's the deal. My number 5 is Star Trek Insurrection. And I say that, you might not agree, but I got a personal beef with this movie because I do like Star Trek, and it was just so subpar and so meh that this movie, it's probably on a technical level better than a lot of these movies that came out in 98, but it just pissed me off in ways that it shouldn't have, you know.
So you took it personal.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, those who haven't listened, Shane's a huge Star Trek fan.
Big fucking nerd, you bet.
So the fact that one of the Star Trek movies, the only movie in 98.
Only movie in 98
that was a
Star
number
Trek.
One. Yeah, we watched 3 this year, by the way. Thanks, Shane.
There's always next year, buddy.
Dude, it's funny because when we started making our lists, I didn't really think about like what was number 1 or not in 98.
Right.
I was just
He's just writing movies down we talked about.
our year in review.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my list was half of my worst movies were Star Trek movies.
Well, 1, 2, 3, got that.
Yeah.
Right.
So then when he sent me a thumbnail of the number 1 movies of the year, I was like, oh shit.
Right.
I really gotta
I've been
do some
fucking it
thinking.
up. Yeah. Yep.
So interesting. Okay, so Rugrats was your honorable, and Star Trek Insurrection
Star
is number
Trek
5.
His Erection was number 5.
Well, you didn't get erection from it.
No, that thing was flat as shit.
I guess you're talking. If Jean-Luc Picard had an erection like the entire movie.
Yeah, well, there is that woman that was going to play with his wing wang, you know?
She never did in the movie. And
No,
that's
she
all
never
you could
did.
talk about when we were reviewing the movie.
I know.
You were like obsessed with him getting head.
Crazy, right? I don't know why.
Do you think Jean-Luc Picard's dick looks just like his head?
I'd like to think so.
Just nice and smooth and shiny.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of
I could see
scruff on the
you know
sides.
what would be really weird is if he is just fucking bald as shit up top and just the hairy bushiest motherfucker down below you've ever seen in your life.
Well, it definitely wouldn't be the first for humankind.
No, it wouldn't. But I'm like, dude, if you ain't got hair up top, at least make it smooth downstairs.
I've known
too.
some dudes who were going bald and were still hairy as fuck. Like their backs and shoulders
Yeah.
and shit were still super hairy.
I'm back, whatever. Because I've seen Patrick Stewart without a shirt on. I'm just talking about his nuts, you know.
That's all Shane cares about.
Trim
is
him
Patrick
back, trim him back.
Stewart's genitalia.
I might be gay for Patrick Stewart, bro.
Whoa.
I don't think I am, but who's to say?
All right.
Where do you sit?
My honorable mention for my worst
Here we go.
was John Carpenter's Vampires.
Vampires, huh?
Yeah. The only reason it wasn't higher on my worst 5 list is because I got a hard on for fucking vampires.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about this a couple times throughout the year.
Yeah.
I like vampire flicks. I don't know why. Ever since I was a little kid, I've liked vampire flicks.
Right.
But after I made my 5, I realized, how did I leave that fucking out?
Right. Well, and I thought about putting mine up there, but compared to some of the other stuff that we've talked about this year, I didn't think that movie was like offensively bad. It was just stupid, you know.
It wasn't good.
No, it wasn't good at all. I mean, it was a bad movie.
Boom, boom, boom.
Oh my god.
Remember that?
I was just thinking about that today too. That's the crazy part.
The whole soundtrack.
Boom, boom, boom. But
And then the fact that John Carpenter is attached like before the title of the movie.
he is a prolific filmmaker.
Right.
Yeah.
And for him just to take a big shit on our faces like that,
Yeah, just squatting it out,
fucked
dude.
with me.
Now give me your money, motherfucker.
Yeah. And I would have.
Yeah, I'm a
would've.
sucker. Well, and you're thinking John Carpenter and vampires was not to love, you know.
Yes.
Maybe we'll have to talk about them sequels someday. I'm pretty sure they just went straight to video, but
The one starring Bon Jovi?
yeah.
I'm interested.
I think they've made more than one. I think they maybe made 2 or 3 of
What's
those
funny
things.
about that is the guys in my office, a couple of them listen pretty regularly, and we always talk about like whatever movie I'm watching.
Right.
And most of them are pretty close to my age. And when that John Carpenter Vampire came up, ooh, excuse me, the beer's getting to me. One of the guys in the office was like, "Oh, I saw that movie," and I was like, "You did? What'd you think about it?" And he was like, "This is the one with Bon Jovi, right?"
Oh no!
So he doesn't remember the original. He never saw the original.
Oh, really?
He only remembers the Bon Jovi version.
Hey.
And he said he thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's better than the. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
That's interesting.
But my number 5 for my worst of 1998
Yes.
was Lethal Weapon 4.
Oh yeah, yeah. I could definitely see that.
There's
How
a-
much did Joe Pesci weigh in on that that ranking? Do you think?
For me, really, it had more to do with Mel Gibson and Danny Glover.
Really?
Yeah, and Chris Rock.
Yeah.
The fact that you can have 3 huge stars and still make such a shit movie.
They didn't bring anything to the table.
And this became a recurring trend for me in my bottom 5.
yeah.
You know, if you got mega stars in your movies and you're bringing me garbage,
Right.
like what the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's why Lethal Weapon 4 kind of it made number 5. And hey, 1 through 5 on this list for me are real fucking close.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it's garbage throughout. These are. I don't know, man. It's weird because I thought about doing Lethal Weapon 4. And I'm not even really sure why I did, to be honest with you.
You found 5 you hated more.
Yeah, I guess so. You know, that must be it right there.
I mean, this is all personal shit.
Right. Doesn't matter at all.
I'm not a fucking professional screen critic.
Yeah.
I'm just a guy who likes to talk about movies.
Yeah. So fuck it.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. You know, you're more of a film nerd
Yeah.
and I'm more of just a movie fan.
Right.
You know, and so like we look at things differently.
Yeah. I think part of the reason why I didn't want to throw Lethal Weapon 4 on there was because I enjoy Lethal Weapon so much. But that really shouldn't factor in. You know, we're not judging the series.
You love Star Trek.
That's true too. But I feel more passionately about Star Trek than I do Lethal fucking Weapon. You know,
Sure.
So. We moving on?
We're moving on.
Moving on.
Number 4.
Number 4.
I like in all those like YouTube videos. If you ever watch like,
Number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's who are those fucking guys that do that shit? I was thinking Cinefix because they do that like 7 things you didn't know about Indiana Jones, you know, and then they're like moving on, you know, and all that shit.
I don't know. There's a list show I watch on
Oh,
something
maybe it's Screw Attack.
where they say like number 4.
Yeah. For me, my number 4 is going to be Lost in Space.
Okay.
Because that movie was stupid. And the only reason that it didn't make it higher on the list was because for as dumb and as, like, retarded as that movie is, it at least kept me moderately entertained.
Did it?
I mean, there's a bunch of action and some jokes that, granted, they don't land, but it was kind of a spectacle. And, I mean, it's not a good movie, but I hated watching it less than I hated, I guess, other movies. Little did I know, because I bitched a lot when we watched that movie.
Yeah.
And little did I know the dog shit that we were going to encounter, you know?
True. I'll just say that Lost in Space had a big impact on me.
It did. A deep impact, shall we say.
Whoa. Hey.
That was not on my list. Deep Impact's fine. That one.
It's not on either one of my lists either.
No, it's not great. It's not horrible. It's fine.
All I gotta say about Lost in Space is I didn't know what the fuck it was going to do.
They couldn't pick a genre with that.
Yeah,
movie.
no idea what that movie was about.
Right?
I wasn't the only one confused. The producer,
time
the
travel?
director, the actors,
Right?
they're all confused.
The fuck are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Just fucking doing some shit, you know? I cannot believe that that's the one that bumped Titanic. I mean, Titanic was going to get bumped eventually.
It has to.
But Lost in Space? Come on.
I think the name.
Yeah. Well, and it has a built-in fan base, you know?
Right, no, that's what I'm saying. You know the name.
Where do you sit on number quattro, sir?
Number 4, Practical Magic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this goes right back into the same wheelhouse I was talking about with my Lethal Weapon. You give me Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman, and then give me that pile of shit.
Right.
I'm pissed.
Yeah.
We're talking about 2 mega stars.
That was a movie that didn't know what the fuck it wanted to do.
It didn't do anything.
Well, I say that because the whole idea of these 2 gals that are cursed or whatever, and then the whole movie doesn't really have anything to do with that. We've got this whole deal where Nicole Kidman's getting abused by this dude. they kill him and bury him on the property, and then some guy comes out to investigate, and I'm just like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? What does any of that have to do with the beginning of this movie? And then at the end of the movie, they don't even explain, like, oh, she fell in love, and they're like, the curse was lifted. How the fuck did that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. They literally, so the women of that particular family were cursed.
Yep.
And any man that fell in love with them would die.
Eventually would die after
a premature
the beetle.
death.
Yeah, they'd hear that beetle chirping or whatever.
Some death beetle shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could have made a love story rom-com around that all day, every day. You got Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman, killers, beautiful, great actresses.
Right. I'm thinking, and I think I said this when we reviewed it, but I'm thinking like Thelma and Louise with magic. Okay, that could be cool.
Well,
nope.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even have to get raped. You know what I mean? Just
yeah, exactly.
They could just go. You could see like how they were always trying to find a way to break the spell, and they were shooing guys away from them because they're both beautiful women, and you know, all that stuff until they were able to, like, she found her one true love and didn't want to lose him.
Yeah,
you know, and they figured out how to beat it, whatever. But no, we just got to like. I don't know. There's a dude. He could be a vampire, but we're not gonna make him one.
Right. Could be a werewolf.
We're not gonna make him one. He could be the devil.
That would be cool.
Yeah, we're not gonna make him that.
They could have even, and I could have respected it more if we had a deal where like Sandra Bullock like fell in love, and then she heard the death beetle, and it was like, oh fuck, I've only got like, maybe there's a timetable when they're like, fuck, I got like a week. You know, how am I gonna stop this from happening? Yeah, exactly. But no, fucking weird and stupid.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
No. And the ants, they didn't give them fucking anything to do in that movie.
And it came out during Halloween. It had nothing to do with fucking Halloween.
Brian and Chucky, you couldn't have eked out a couple more bucks, dude. You got all the way up to the finish line and fucking fumbled.
So that was my number 4 and the worst.
Okay. Number 3.
Number 3.
Ants.
Ants.
Oh, God, did I hate this fucking movie, bro.
So Ants didn't make my list.
Really?
Yeah.
I was debating putting this at number 1, but there was some other crap out there that just had to take it.
Why did it make your number 3?
Number 3, I like the Sylvester Stallone ant in that movie. Hey, yo, Adrian.
Hey, Z.
I got... Everybody has a Stallone, and they're all bad. I'm going to stop now.
I think they're perfect.
All you got to do is talk like an idiot.
Hey.
I want an Oscar here.
I'm 78 and I look fantastic.
Oh, his face doesn't.
He's still...
Whatever.
Giant.
He whipped the shit out of me. It blows my mind that he's 78. And another one is Chuck Norris.
I don't know if he's 78.
He probably is.
He's close.
Yeah. Another one is Chuck Norris is in his 80s, and he looks fucking 50.
I feel like Chuck, though, eats like a real clean diet.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, he's so tough, he just fights off death every day.
Right? He just literally kicks cancer's ass.
He's going to be... he's going to live to be like 170.
He's a Highlander, dude.
Yeah.
Ants, the problem with Ants, I've never seen a movie that was made out of spite before. Movies get made for lots of reasons, mostly for money, or we got to round out this trilogy or whatever. But spite, it's kind of weird.
It's a super valid point.
Yeah,
actually.
It is. And so anyway, a lot of the stuff in the movie, like the decapitated Danny Glover head, yeah, and like them like all dancing to this really bizarre 1998 like drum beat music in that fucking ant bar after they drink aphid ass. And like the whole thing was, like I said before, the best way to describe it for me was a fever dream. Like if I was hungover and asleep on the couch and fucking ants popped on the TV while I was asleep and woke up and saw that shit, I would be having a real bad fucking day, dude.
Yeah, it's a real shit movie.
Oh, yeah. It was garbage.
I'll give you that.
I'm amazed it did not make your list.
It didn't make my list because I didn't give 2 fucks about that movie.
That is true. It comes and it goes like a fart.
Yeah. Here we go with the farts again. Every episode, Shane finds something to fixate on.
Never gets old.
Yeah. Every time about Star Trek, it was all about fucking Picard's dick, and now it's all about farts.
We've already talked about Picard's dick and bush in this episode. We're just wrapping up the year right here, my friend.
Yeah, I didn't give a fuck about ants, dude.
Yeah.
I thought about it. I almost put it on my list, and I was just like, I don't give two shits.
Whatever.
About
There's
this
so
movie.
much worse shit to fucking sift through. Yeah.
Yeah. So it didn't make my list.
What did?
Number 3.
Here we go.
Is that getting old yet?
I like it.
All right.
Keep
Keep doing it.
Fuck
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me was Rugrats.
Oh, okay. Fair
Because
enough.
it was so painful for me to watch.
The sad part is it's short and it seems so much longer than it is.
Yeah, so the reason why you forgave it is the reason why I hate it. It's hour, 10-minute runtime, and it felt like it was 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Oh, it did.
I was thinking the whole time I was watching it, when is this shit going to be over? Mm-hmm. You may remember from when we recorded the podcast, I watched it in 18 segments.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
The worst way to watch that fucking movie.
But each segment, when it was over, gave me a little hope.
Boom, check mark.
Yeah. Okay. 16 to go.
Next, right.
The movie was all over the fucking place.
Yep.
I couldn't tell if it was like, oh man, I don't even want to say some of my comments to this because it's just so terrible, but I honestly couldn't tell what kind of message they were trying to put out there.
I don't know either.
There
Like,
was a lot of racial stuff in it, but
Right.
not directly.
No,
like
not
real
directly.
subtle racial stuff.
well, like, is the message of the movie don't hate your sibling? Seems kind of obvious to me, you know?
Yeah, the dad was flying around in a pterodactyl thing that would never fucking
that
fly.
fucking reptar wagon shit in the movie. Like, David Spade shows up for fucking 5 minutes.
And he's a complete bitch.
The fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah, Whoopi's in it.
What does that have to do with anything?
I have no idea.
It was bad. I guess another problem that I ran into too was a lot of these movies are so forgettable. Like, obviously, I remember hating the Rugrats, but I really don't even remember it all that well. It made zero impact on me.
So it was like how I felt about ants.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
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 And that's what's great about like movies, man. It's totally subjective.
Right.
You know, everybody's gonna have a different experience with each film that they watch.
Yeah.
There's a movie on here in my list later that wasn't really critically received well, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So you know, it's all about
What it means to
subjectivity.
you, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that was another thing right there is I almost thought about putting the Big Hit up there.
In the worst movie films.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And so whenever I was thinking about it, though, I was sitting back and I was like trying to piece together in my head, now what the fuck was that thing even about? And I remember like a body in a trash bag and like I'm driving around and like King Kong lives and shit. But I really didn't remember it all that well. You know?
What about the Japanese gangsters in their minivans? Do you remember that? They're all chasing him in at the end
Oh
scene.
yeah,
He's driving that yellow
He's driving
fucking-
that fucking Firebird
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, and the vans can't or like catching up to him.
Yeah, with like 12 dudes hanging out of him. The hatchback on the back's open.
Yeah, I remember the whole like shootout at the end and like the blockbuster. That shit was weak, dude.
Yeah.
That was a bad movie.
It's not good.
No.
So that's one of the movies we mentioned at the opening of this is like, I loved that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was smoking.
You're in the Marines. I bet you're just happy to be going to the movie theater or something.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any excuse for myself.
I'm ashamed enough. Quit
I
bringing it up.
picked that movie. No, wait. It was
No,
the
it was
movie.
the number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was excited about it, though.
Yeah,
I found out
you
we
were pumped about
yeah.
it. You're like, I remember when we announced it, you're like, oh, that's a good movie. Because I know you like Mark Wahlberg anyway, you know?
You do.
I think he's a good actor.
Sometimes.
With the right material, yeah.
Yeah.
Transformers, not so much, but I really liked him in other stuff like The Fighter. I thought he was fantastic.
He was great in The Fighter.
Yeah.
His movie debut, what was that movie fucking called?
Boogie Nights.
No.
No?
Before that.
Before that?
Fear.
Oh, yeah, with Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah, he's awesome in that. He was good in Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
Terrible in that fucking movie, the M. Night Shyamalan movie. The fuck
Have you guys heard about the bees?
Yeah.
The fucking happening? Yeah.
The Happening, yeah.
Bro, these bees aren't fucking.
He's great in the Ted movies.
Yeah, I like Ted.
Yeah, but he's hit and miss.
Right. What'd you think about him in Planet of the Apes?
I thought he was good.
I didn't like that movie.
Oh, really?
I own a copy of it, but I didn't.
I
care
like
for
all
it.
the Planet of the Apes movies.
See, I like him. I like him. I go all the way back to the originals, and so I like all of them up to a point. Unfortunately, he didn't make the cut. So.
I've never seen one I didn't like.
Oh, okay.
What's really strange about it is it's one of the few movie franchises that Nicole and I, my wife, both we can't wait to watch.
Yeah.
Like, we're pumped. There's a new Planet of the Apes movie.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know why we like them so much. We just do.
I mean, they're cool. These new 3 ones that they did, I don't think they're going to continue on after this. But I thought those were pretty good.
I like them all.
Especially the second one. For whatever reason, I really like that one. Really,
the one where they're
resonated
actually
with me.
like throwing down in war.
Yeah, whenever there's like the bad ape and like Caesar's like fuck that dude, you know, and like he basically like starts this entire war against the humans,
right?
And that's whenever Caesar's like, dude, this shit's getting out of hand. You know, nothing happened
With like Woody Harrelson.
No, that was the one with what's his name, Jason Clark.
Ooh, fuck is Jason Clark?
He was that's the one that had fart face in it. What's
James Franco?
No, Mike. I swear.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. It was the whatever. It's the second one, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Check it out.
All right. Number 2.
Number 2. This is where we're scraping the fucking shit basket right here, man. I put down City of Angels.
Really?
Yeah. It was bad. Really fucking bad. Meg
was.
Ryan should be ashamed of herself, and fucking Nicolas Cage needs to fuck off.
Do you think that's the first time we got a real glimpse into who Nicolas Cage was?
It's entirely possible. But, because, I mean, up until this point, he'd done a lot of action-y stuff, you know. We had talked about how he'd done a lot of quirky stuff back in, like, the late 80s, early 90s. Raising Arizona being one of them, you know.
Yeah.
But this is, I think, where you could kind of see the writing on the wall. I don't even think that his acting is necessarily bad. I just think it's an overall bad movie. His acting doesn't add anything to it, granted. But
So I'm not surprised it made your worst list.
Oh, okay.
Because when we reviewed it, you hated it.
Oh, I hated it. And it's weird because I think I talked about it before, but my uncle was telling me how much he enjoyed it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, and I watched it and I was like, this is fucking awful, bro. What are you talking about, man?
So this is one of my favorite things about this list that we're doing.
Yeah.
It's not on my list.
Okay.
City of Angels did not make my list.
Yeah.
It was another movie that was like, whatever.
Me.
I like Meg Ryan, maybe.
I mean, I like Meg Ryan.
I know, but I mean,
After 1998, I'm really not sure why.
for me, though, it might have been enough to give it a pass.
Yeah, fair enough. I like, who's the angel that's like the frumpy dude? He was an angel and became a human.
Oh, yeah, he was on like...
He was in NYPD Blue. and all that
NYPD
shit.
Blue, yeah.
I liked him. But
He was a good character. He was the
probably
only...
the most interesting character.
Yeah.
The only character in that fucking movie.
Right.
What do you got down for 2?
Number 2.
Here we go. I cannot wait.
Star Trek Insurrection.
Oh, okay. So you really hated that fucking movie?
It was really badly done, in my opinion. Like I said, the one thing about the movie that could have maybe even got it off my list is I thought it was filmed pretty well.
Yeah.
But the characters were all out of character. Like,
Yeah.
none of them behaved the way they do in the show. And I guess that was the point.
That's really kind of an ongoing issue that a lot of people have had with those Next Generation movies. Is the first one's really the only movie that any of them act like their TV counterparts.
What, First Contact?
No, it was the first one was kind of a crossover between William Shatner and Patrick Stewart. And so you had a situation where, like, you had Captain Kirk show up in the movie, you know, and all that other shit. But that was Star Trek Generations. And that one, I would say that they're true to their characters. And the rest of the movie, movies, because there was First Contact, there was Nemesis, First Contact, Insurrection, then Nemesis. And I would say that in each of those 3, they really don't act like they ever did in the show, you know. So,
Well, it fucked with me. Picard went all Kirk on me.
Yep.
He was chasing... he was being a... I don't even know what word to use. Chasing women.
Chasing some tail.
Yeah. He was being all, like, rebellious.
Yeah, which Kirk was always the one that's like, you know what? I'm going to do what I want to do.
And Picard was always like...
never that way.
No, he, like, followed the regulations.
Yeah, you know what? We've been given orders, you know? I mean, if the orders were bullshit, then he would look into it. But 99 times out of 100, he's gonna do what he's fucking told. You know.
The whole like subplot of like eliminating an entire race of people. But they didn't ever even focus on the genocide point of the movie. Like,
No.
they're gonna move you next.
Yeah.
Data's fucking characters whack.
Yeah. He
From the
learns how to
jump.
play.
Yeah, from the jump.
He's got inflatable balls.
And I said when we reviewed the movie just a few weeks ago, like he was probably my favorite Next Generation character.
Best one.
And I didn't like him at all in the movie.
Nope.
Jordy can see with his eyes.
Yep.
Fucking what's his name and what's her name? We're all like
Riker and Troy.
but they were horny for each other, but like 10-year-olds.
Right? And that's the funny thing about it was, so in the show they had dated like before the show ever started, and then they happened to get assigned together. So this romance kind of just comes out of nowhere, you know, because they always kind of banter back and forth on the show a little bit. And like if Troy was like getting serious with the dude, she'd be like, hey, I want you to know, like, heads up, things, I don't want it to be awkward whenever you find out I'm seeing this dude, you know. But they never really like flamed their romance during the show, so this really came out of nowhere, you know.
And it was so like adolescent in the way they approached it.
Oh, it was.
Like we're two grown ass people.
Right.
Like, if we're into each other, we fucking.
Right. He like goes into her office and he's like, I need a therapy session. Honk honk, you know.
Fucking Shane just air squeeze tits.
Right. See them boobies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
It wasn't
It's
good.
Stupid.
I didn't like it. It was the third time I had to watch a Star Trek movie. You forced me to watch two others before that, so I was pretty fed up by the time we watched it. So
Nowhere to go but up, my friend.
I think that's why I made number 2 on my list. All right, we've been waiting for this patiently, Shane. What is your number
drum roll,
one
please.
worst movie of 1998?
Practical Magic. I already talked about it.
Oh.
I thought that movie was awful. And we sat back. That was one that we watched together. I just hated it throughout. The plot was dumb. And that's all I got to say.
Okay,
Nothing
short and
else.
sweet.
I mean, we already discussed everything we hated on it, you know? So, whatever.
Yeah. Well, then I guess we'll just roll into my number one.
Let's hear it.
My number one also made your list.
Oh.
So I think out of the 5 movies, and we'll review them, but I think just by looking at it, we only picked the same movie twice, and my number one was Lost in Space.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
So just so you know, it was really hard for me to choose between Star Trek and Lost in Space.
Both are equally shitty.
I hated them both.
Yeah.
I've realized I'm not into space sci-fi shit now. Thanks for ruining Star Wars for me.
Star Wars is good. Except Last Jedi. That can fuck off.
But Lost in Space was just so all over the fucking place. That fucking time bubble shit was weird.
It was bad.
And the crash, oh man, it was so bad.
Space spiders and Spider Smith at the end
Oh,
of the
that
movie.
dude at the end. What the fuck?
This shit was so weak. And he's got these big old, like, fucking horse hoof things that he's walking around on. And they teach the robot about friendship. That's how they get away. So bad.
So the reason why this made my number one is because when I was watching this movie,
Yeah.
I was pulling my fucking hair out and trying to stab my eyeballs out because I hated watching it. I've never watched a movie before. I was just like, why am I still
This is
watching
awful.
this?
Yeah.
If you remember really early on this year, we talked about like bad movies we watched.
It was Star Trek 5. And you were like, I
don't
just
watch-
turned bad movies off.
I don't watch bad movies.
Right.
If I'm not into it
This
after
is dumb. I'm out.
30 and I found myself with some films like 30, 40 minutes into it where I'm like, I'm invested this much. I got to see what happens.
Yeah.
But movies like Lost in Space, I'm like, fuck this movie.
Right.
I could watch fucking
Really dumb.
some
I could be watching anything else.
cooking show.
Right. Fucking Gordon Ramsay's inevitably got something on right now.
Yeah. I could watch fucking Antiques Roadshow and be
Yeah.
more into it than this.
I dig that show. So
I do sometimes. And then I have to remind myself I'm not 89 years old and sipping on pudding while my teeth rest in
Makes me
water.
think of we've talked about it this year, but Grandma's Boy. So
Yeah, I love that movie.
all about it. Yeah.
So, just
If you remember, I was exasperated by the time I was trying to explain the plot of that movie, and I was finally like, dude, what the fuck is this even about, man? You know?
So I have to thank the movie Lost in Space, though, because after that episode and several episodes where we went plot point by plot point
Yeah.
through the movies, and most of them were bad,
Right.
we have changed our format to a more free flow, more open talk format where we're not into forced conversation and shit like that.
Right.
And I don't know if it's better, but I have way more fun.
Yeah. I think so. I like it better. So
just real quick, run through one through, I guess, an honorable mention for us of what your list was, and I'm just gonna tell you if I was on it or not as a review. So go for your number one. On the worst movie was
number 1 was Practical Magic.
that was my number 4.
Okay. Number 2, Shitty of Angels.
Did not make my list.
Okay. Number 3 was Ants.
Did not make my list.
Number 4 was Lost in Space.
My number 1.
Star Trek Insurrection.
My number
2. And then I had the fucking Rugrats.
That was your honorable?
Yeah.
Okay, and I have vampires.
Right.
So, hey, out of the 6, we were 50%.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I mean, there are a lot of options. You know,
We had 27 options.
right? Each one as bad as the next, just
And
about.
we both picked 3 that I think that's pretty good indication of,
We're pretty much on the same mark.
well, and how much those movies suck.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. Do you want to do the best?
I mean, we might as well.
Yeah, I mean we're already here.
We're drinkers and we're talking about the movies of 98.
lighting the fires, kicking the tires, Big Daddy.
What the fuck is that from?
That is from Independence Day. That was Harry Connick Jr.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
So one of the guys I work with, he's a lot like you, where he can just like quote movies all day long, and he expects me to know what movie he's quoting. He's like, you don't know what I'm talking about? And it's just the most random shit.
Like what?
I don't know. Don't put me in the spot.
I don't even remember, much less the quote. You're like, I don't even know what fucking movie that was.
He just says stuff and he gives me this funny look. He's a really funny dude.
Yeah.
He just gives me this like funny look, like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't know what you're saying.
Maybe? No, I do not know what you're saying. That's fucking funny. Okay, honorable mention for the best of 1998. Now, keep in mind, there are a bunch of movies on here that at any other time I would consider to be average. Not great, but
Oh, in our
watchable.
list?
Yeah, on the top.
Yeah.
But we had to pick 5.
I'm actually kind of excited to see what you pick for the best. I'm more excited about the best than I was about the worst.
Okay.
Like we just said, we went 50% on the worst.
Yeah.
On matching.
I think this is going to be, well, I already know the top 2. That's obvious.
You're
but
pretty sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Confident?
There were, in my opinion, 2 movies that I would consider to be like cinematically awesome that were number 1 in 98.
All right, well, don't spoil it.
Right.
What's your honorable mention, Shane?
The Water Boy.
The Water Boy.
Yeah.
Water sucks.
It really, really
sucks. That's one of those quote type of things he
There
fucking
you go.
do to me. Yeah.
But you know that one. This is one of those deals where The Water Boy, nothing great, but it's better than just
Almost
about
everything
everything
else.
Yeah, so fuck it. Throw it up there. For me, number 5 was He Got Game.
He Got Game.
Yeah. Now, I like this movie. One thing that I liked about it in particular was the movie itself, and we talked about this when we talked about the movie, but the basketball is really just the backdrop for the movie. It's really not a movie about basketball per se. It's more about like this father and son's relationship that is just busted beyond repair, you know? And I like that. And I also like that, like at the end of the movie, they kind of learned to live with each other, but they never really reconciled, you know?
When the kid accepted that spot at the school his dad wanted
You
to
think
go
that
to,
was kind of like him reaching out?
I think that was like their kind of reconciliation. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the name of that school? Do you remember? It was like College U or some shit.
Big State University.
That's what it was. Big State. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big State. Real generic there, fellas.
Well, I mean, Spike Lee didn't want to get sued,
Right. Big State.
and we get it. Mm-hmm. Big State.
Oh, yeah.
We got it.
The name of the college does not matter in
No.
that movie. Not at all.
He's in New York.
Right. So yeah, I like that. You know, there's relationships that I've had in the past that were just fucked, and you just had to kind of live with the fact that shit probably isn't gonna get resolved. You know.
I've gotten better at that as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
Where someone I cared about, maybe betrayed me, or not even betrayed me, but betrayed someone else that we cared about, or
Right.
didn't behave in a manner that I was expecting them to behave.
Right.
And you got to learn to cut ties and be okay with that.
Yeah, it is.
And there's other times where like someone just sucks, but
Right.
you still kind of like being around them. So you just like accept them for being shitty.
Right. And yeah, I have a couple people like that I'm like, this dude does suck, but he's a funny motherfucker. So,
Right.
Yeah, exactly. What about you? Where you sit on number cinco?
So hey, just right off the jump,
Yeah.
neither one of those movies are on my list.
Oh, okay. So fair enough.
So Waterboy didn't make my top 5. It was funny.
It was.
in parts. I liked it.
Right.
But it didn't make my top 5. And He Got Game was really close. Like if we would have did 2 honorable mentions, He Got Game would have been on my list.
I got you.
My honorable mention.
If first of all, if City of Angels is on your list, we're gonna have to fucking rumble outside in my driveway.
Oh, I'll kick your ass for fun.
I got shit to do. No, what you got?
My honorable mention was Mask of Zorro.
Okay.
I just thought it was entertaining, man.
It is entertaining.
And Catherine Zeta-Jones could just kind of be on film for about an hour,
She is a goddess, bro.
and she'd make my list.
And you throw in that little Latin accent she's rocking. That's it.
Yeah, so
You leave Michael Douglas, I will propose.
but
tomorrow.
we talked about it when we recorded the podcast. The sword fights were great.
It's got a decent enough story to get the action going, you know.
CCJ is amazing.
Yeah.
I kind of found it a little fun to watch Anthony Hopkins be a Spaniard.
A Spaniard that's like an awesome sword, like doing all this physical shit.
He's, like, old and
swinging
out of
off
weight and just
he's
killing it.
whipping and yeah.
That was fun.
Right.
Antonio Banderas, I think it might be one of his best.
He's great.
So it made my honorable mention.
Yeah.
Number 5 for me was probably my biggest surprise in making this list.
Okay.
I
I know what you're gonna say.
What am I going to say, Shane?
I think it's the Truman Show.
It's not.
Oh, okay.
The biggest surprise for me in this list was number 5, and it's Patch Adams.
Patch Adams.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I know critically it wasn't accepted very well.
Yeah.
Or received, I should say, very well.
Right.
I know that like Rotten Tomatoes has like a 24%.
Oh, I didn't even look on its tomato meter.
23%. I didn't watch it. I don't normally look at that stuff.
Yeah.
When we do our shows, I do no research.
Right.
And I kind of do that on purpose. That's kind of your
Coming
wheelhouse.
fresh, yeah.
I let you do the stats and stuff like that. But when I was looking on how to watch it, because the copy I had kept stopping.
Yeah, I think I sent you a bad one.
I don't know. It kept stopping. So I ended up just going to Amazon Prime, renting it for $2.99 and watching it. And man, honestly, it's just a touching story about a guy who wants to do well.
Yeah.
So it made my list. It got number 5. I didn't think it was bad, and I love Robin Williams.
Yeah. He's pretty great. There you go. So that's your number 5.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd never seen Patch Adams actually.
Until until last episode.
Yeah. So I had kind of a unique perspective. But
Well, you guys heard us talk about it last week, so
right.
if you're curious, just tune in.
Exactly. Number 4 for me.
Number 4.
I don't know if this is going to be on your list or not. You really kind of threw me for a loop with the He Got Game. But I put down There's Something About Mary. Is it?
Did not make my
Really?
list. No.
This is getting interesting, man. No, I like There's Something About Mary. Once again, like I said, it's not a great movie. I liked it. I thought it was funnier than The Waterboy. But it was...
It was funnier than Waterboy.
Yeah. I thought that it was a fun movie. Is it stupid? Yeah. Is it immature? Yeah. Is it funny? I think so.
So it almost made my list as well.
Okay.
I mean, you could narrow that down to a couple scenes for me why it almost made my list, though. Number 1 being on that list,
The hair gel.
the jerk off scene. When he's trying to figure out where it went, it
Oh, yeah.
kills me every time.
And my wife didn't understand. She's like, what does he mean?
He looks on the ceiling.
Right. No, he just shot a load somewhere. He has no idea.
Like a ricochet, like the magic bullet.
Yeah. The JFK moment there.
Yeah.
I like that, and I like the scene where the dog's fucking with him.
Oh, that's great.
It's pretty funny.
So if I narrowed a movie down to like just the best scenes of 1998,
Pretty freaking.
it might have made really close to the top of my list.
Oh, okay.
But the movie itself, like, it's funny, it's
Yeah.
silly. I don't have any comedies on my list.
Oh, okay. Fascinating. I almost didn't put them on there, but like I said, I was trying to find shit, you know. Say for instance, this was like, I don't even know what came out in 2001, but we'll say 2002, like the year that the first Spider-Man came out and all that shit. If something about Mary come out that year, probably not gonna make it. But slim pickings, man.
You were digging.
I was digging deep, bro.
I didn't have to dig as hard, I guess.
Okay. Speaking of you,
Number 4.
Yeah, what you got?
So for me, number 4 was Rounders.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was kind of meh about that one.
So for me, Rounders made my list for the same reason that Practical Magic made my worst list.
Okay.
Because you gave me Matt Damon and Edward Norton Jr.
Edward Norton, no junior.
Oh, I said that last time.
Yeah, you did. That's funny.
Why do I always add a junior to his name?
That's pretty weird.
Yeah, so Matt Damon and Ed Norton. I don't know why I do
It's
that.
fucking weird.
I think I've done it forever.
Probably.
Um,
Edward Norton Jr. shows up in 99, so.
but because the same reason Practical Magic made my list, man, I shouldn't be drinking this beer. It's making me really gassy. Keep
Yeah.
burping.
Keep burping.
But it's two good actors
Yeah.
who, for me, both played their parts well.
They played well off each other really well, too.
Yeah. The movie was kind of gritty.
Yeah.
I like gritty movies.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of took us into a world I'm not very familiar with.
Right.
You know, you've never played poker.
Never.
Yeah.
Still haven't played it.
We discovered that when we watched this that
you
movie.
offered to take all my money.
Yeah, I'm still down anytime you want. We're sitting at a poker table right now.
We are.
Let's go. But I've played poker purely recreational. You know, the most I've ever lost in a poker game is $20 with some friends.
Right.
You know, just being silly. But to watch like real competitive poker in the way that they break down like the hands and what's on the stakes and how they're reading each other, I really appreciated that in the movie. So that's why I made my top 5 for 1998 at my number 4.
Right. I will say, so me and Mike, it wasn't long ago, we went to this little bar celebrating your wife's graduation.
Was it JJ's?
Yeah. And that bar, it was almost like, because me and Mike have both been to New York City.
Yeah.
And so that bar, it was almost like this real narrow thing, and you go upstairs, you know, and everybody's packed in there and shit. And
Very New York City-esque.
Yes. And it reminded me of something that you might see out of Rounders, honestly, because it's just this nasty little fucking shit. But I love, like, the atmosphere of it, you know. It was
Yeah,
really
we're
cool.
big fans of dive bars.
Yeah. I like a good dive.
But that place was packed.
It was packed. They had good drinks and stuff.
And
so.
actually, so Nicole, my wife, she graduated from college,
Yep.
and we were very excited for that. But when we went to the thing, you know, it was her night.
Right.
So she was picking where she wanted to go. And when she mentioned that, I looked at the reviews and stuff, and it was like really highly reviewed.
Yeah.
It's apparently like a tourist spot. Like if you're in town, you want to go drinking, JJ's is the spot to go.
VJJ's.
For JJ's?
That's what I've been calling it ever since we went, but yeah.
Really?
Yep.
So my daughter calls it privates.
We'll leave that where it is.
Next.
I have nothing to segue. I'm not going to try to say something clever about that.
Yeah, don't. You make shit creepy all the time? Not this time.
No, don't do that. Yeah.
Where we at? Number what? 3?
We are at number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3. I had Mask of Zorro. So go
Nice.
figure. Yeah. I thought it was good, man. It's a good little adventure movie. It's got some good old-fashioned swashbuckling. I remember whenever I first saw that movie back in 98, just having a blast. I thought it lived up to it, you know. It's a good time. So
It's interesting that you said that because when I first watched it back in 98, 99,
Not a
2000, I was okay.
yeah.
I don't know if it's because we had watched so much shit this year,
Just made it seem that much
but it
better.
was just like a breath of fresh
This
air.
movie didn't suck, thank God.
Yeah. I appreciated it a lot more. Maybe it just held up really well, and that's why I liked it so much more.
It's entirely possible. I think one thing that helped that movie was that there wasn't an overabundance of CGI.
Well,
If you
it's a
want to
period piece too.
right? And if you want to look at like a comparative, I think a really good film to compare it to, like a modern day almost like side piece to it. Like compare some of the action scenes to that of what you saw in like Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That just nobody looks like they're at all concerned about what's going on because it's just two dudes standing in front of a green screen, you know? And you got Shia LaBeouf swinging through the fucking vines with monkeys and shit. And you're just like, this is bad, dude. And I think that The Mask of Zorro was that much better because they weren't using CGI as a crutch, you know?
was
Everything you saw was real.
It's all practical effects.
Yeah. If some shit was getting blown up, it really got blown up, you know?
Yeah.
So, I liked it.
Cool. So that's the first one I think on both of our lists that we
Yeah.
matched on.
What do you got for number 3?
Number 3.
Boom.
I could stay awake.
Oh,
Just
God, I knew you were going to do that.
Sleeping.
I knew that was going to be on your motherfucking list.
Armageddon.
Yeah, we all know.
Sorry, love it.
I know you do.
Nothing else to say.
Nothing else to say.
I love it.
I know. Whenever me and you first started, so whenever I made it to my duty station in the Army, I had met Mike like once before. And so I went up there, and sure enough, Mike's same duty station, everything. And so I wound up staying at their house, and me and Mike got put on this like friendship crash course, you know? And so it was a deal where I found out that Mike's one of his favorite movies was Armageddon, and I was like, "Oh my God, me and him are going to have nothing in common."
We still don't have much in common.
Not really. No, I don't even know why we're friends. Really,
No bullshit. Not to get sappy on anybody, but we're just good guys.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we like different shit, but you know, we take care of our kids. Of
course.
we love our wives.
Absolutely.
We go to work. We pay our bills.
try
Yeah, we
try
just,
to pay the bill.
We just do what we got to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I don't know what it is about Armageddon. I said it in the episode
Don't
when we
ask
talked
me.
about the movie, but the fact that you know, I was a young guy. Didn't have much money. I had this fucking VHS tape of Armageddon, and I watched it every day.
Watch the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
I hear you.
And Liv Tyler was smoking.
See, I never thought she was.
I was like 19 years old and full of fucking testosterone, bro.
Yeah. You know, the one for me was whenever I was just going through puberty, was about the time episode 1 of Star Wars came out, which we'll be talking about soon. But that was my first attention I ever paid to Natalie Portman.
Oh, Jesus.
I was like, oh my God.
Dude, she's in this perfume commercial here recently. I
Yeah?
don't know if you've seen it. But she's like, if you love me, you would prove it. And she's wearing like this white silk thin gown, like in the ocean.
Yeah?
Like it's a Christian Dior or something like that. Like
Right.
fancy ass European. Like, I don't even know what the term is. There's a term for it, the type of art that is. And she's killing it and whatever. And I don't fast forward through the commercial. And Nicole's always like, you love some Natalie Portman.
Oh, man. She's incredible. She is an incredible woman.
She's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
She married a ballet dancer from France.
She's a great actress, though. You know, I
The-
got no gripes.
For me personally, have you watched Black Swan?
Yeah. Her and Mila Kunis
Great movie.
going down on each other's no-no parts.
That's all I really remember.
Whatever.
Fantastic movie.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I'm just watching.
All right.
Oh shit, that's funny.
Stay tuned for next week's Creeper episode.
Right.
Number 2.
Number 2. This is where I think we're gonna link up pretty hard. Maybe we won't. I foresee it though. I got The Truman Show. And great movie. Jim Carrey. This is like his first serious role that I remember seeing. He was pretty good in it, and all the acting's great, and the story's fantastic. The social commentary, maybe not the most subtle at times, but you gotta kind of look for it too. So I thought it was great, man.
Some of the cat out of the bag is also my number 2.
Yep.
I really, really enjoyed the movie. There's a lot of things I caught watching it back when we were recording the episode that I did not see before or didn't notice before. The fact that there were so many hints that it was being like pre-planned that he didn't see because it was just part of his normal world. But
Sure.
I think back to the scene when like shit was getting a little crazy for him when he saw his dad.
Yeah.
And
Dudes come out of nowhere and scoop
yeah,
them
people
up
are
and take
just,
off. Yeah.
Well, no, people like are riding bikes in front of them. And
Yeah.
there's cars having like fender benders in front of them.
Perfectly synchronized.
Yeah, all these things were like happening to stop him from moving. The rain cloud that moved with him. The light that fell from the sky. Stuff that like is put in the movie so you notice it.
Right.
But when I was younger and watching it, I was like, oh, this is cool, whatever. But
You might have been hoping for like a liar liar type thing or something.
I was kind of probably waiting for him to be funny.
Right. This
But-
isn't that funny.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
Right.
It's not, but it's really well done. Jim Carrey is really good in it.
Yeah.
He talks about all the time that movies that he's done really reflect like what he's going through in his life at the time. And Truman Show's one he brings up all the time in his interviews.
Right.
Because, he was faced with all his stardom.
Yeah.
This was after all his comedic hits. And
You got The Mask and Dumb and Dumber and
Right.
Ace Ventura's and all
yeah,
that shit.
yeah. So, like, he's a megastar. And, all the attention was on him. And everything was in his world, like his personal world.
Yeah.
Was like it revolving around him.
Oh, yeah.
And how the Truman Show kind of like synced right up with that.
Right.
And that's how he could connect with the movie so much. And I think you really can see that in watching it back.
He always felt like someone was watching him.
I love that song.
That is a good song. Not what I sing.
Oh.
Right. But
So should we just say number 1 together?
yeah.
I don't think
3, 2, 1. Saving Private Ryan. One of the best movies ever made, in my opinion.
For sure.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, if and when we do a top time favorite movie of all time list,
Which we've talked about.
we're going to do one.
We will.
Saving Private Ryan's on my list.
It's going to ace it. You bet. That's all there is to say, man. If you have not seen Saving Private Ryan, you need to rethink your life, dude. It's great.
If you haven't seen Saving Private Ryan, you haven't seen one of the greatest actors that our generation's ever seen,
Agreed.
with Tom Hanks, playing one of the best roles our generation has ever seen.
Agreed.
Talking about, in my opinion, and it's widely regarded as the greatest generation to ever be in this country. Mm-hmm. Our World War II veterans.
Agreed.
If you enjoy your Apple phone or your Samsung Galaxy or whatever the fuck you got in your pocket,
Speaking English.
yeah, it's because of those men and women who served
Yeah.
in World War II.
Right.
I've been watching a show a lot lately called The Man in the Hidden Castle.
Oh, yeah.
And we've talked
Is
about
it the High Castle or Hidden Castle?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's The Man in the High
I
Castle.
haven't watched it, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about it a couple times on the episode, on the show.
Perhaps.
But it's about what would have happened if Germany and Japan would have won World War II.
Oh.
And you get a chance to kind of see. I mean, it's just all guessing. Nobody knows.
Right.
But, it's a possibility.
Right.
And we don't have to live that way.
Right. Exactly.
We experience freedoms that the rest of the world does not know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk to the people out there who've never been abroad. If you've never been to a country that is considered second world or third world and seen like what they experience, then you don't know how lucky you have it.
Agreed. I think that when it comes to this movie, because you had people that were, nowadays you see a lot of people that are like, oh man, I just hope that I don't have to go overseas or whatever. There were people that were, lying about their age so that they could get in, and go do some good, that sort of thing.
There was people fighting in Europe and in Asia or
Yeah.
Japan that had never been on a fucking airplane.
Yeah, I believe it.
They got on an airplane for the first time in their life to sacrifice their lives to this country. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well,
Obviously, we're biased.
of course.
We're both vets.
Yeah.
But those dudes, those women,
Bad motherfuckers.
they earned our respect.
Oh, yeah. And I would tell my wife, when I was in the military, whatever, And usually it was whenever I was heavily inebriated. I said, but it's one of those deals where I was, it brought me a certain amount of pride, to wear the same uniform that
It should.
Yeah, definitely. So
I've talked about it a bunch of times. I'm currently in the recruiting world of the Army.
Yep.
I don't miss a swear-in. When I put a kid in the Army,
Yeah.
and I say kid because they're 17 to 22 years
Oh, yeah.
old, and they go down there, they go through the whole physical process, the testing process, all the bullshit you have to do to get in the
it
military.
sucks.
Yeah.
You got to show off your beehole.
Yeah. You literally bend over, spread your cheeks, and show a doctor
There's
your
an old
asshole.
man just checking out your butt.
Yeah. And when you go through all that, and at the end of it, you get to swear an oath to serve and to protect the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yep.
Like, it's a pretty big deal.
It is a big deal.
People don't realize that less than 0.5% are currently serving of this country. Less than 0.5%.
I believe it.
0.47% are currently serving. Less than 8% have ever served.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I get it. If you're not into war, you're not into all that stuff. I'm not either.
Yeah.
I'm really not. All right. I'm in the Army. This is my career.
Right.
And this is the means to an ends for me. But those men and women who came before me, like, they sacrificed a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm grateful for them.
Well, and it's something that I told my dad, a lot too, was these guys that were these young fellas that were over there, trying to take out Germans, fighting for this freedom that they'd barely gotten a taste of, and it kind of is almost like an emotional thing, for me. So.
Watching the opening scene, or not, is it the opening scene? No, the
Where
opening
they're in
scene.
Normandy. Well,
yeah,
he's at the
graves
side.
side.
But it cuts to it pretty quick. Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Oh, dude, no, I can't.
You know why I can? Because of this movie.
Oh, there you go. Kind of puts you in it, man.
It's so startling. Mm-hmm. The violence that these people were exposed to.
And they front loaded at the beginning of the movie,
It shows you what you're getting ready to watch.
Right. Yeah.
It's not hiding shit. The emotions are raw. They're real. Mm-hmm. The guy they've been searching for and losing soldiers to find, he's sitting in a ball crying,
Yeah.
in the final scene.
Yep. Because he's just a kid himself, It's one of
Yeah.
those things.
He probably got drafted.
It's crazy. Oh, yeah. It's crazy. Makes me want to go watch Saving Private Ryan right now.
It's a fantastic American film. I can't speak on other, countries' films. I've seen maybe a handful of them in my entire life.
Yeah.
But it's just a really great film that documents a really pivotal point in this country's history.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because if Spielberg had put out, say, just a fucking plethora of dog shit movies and then, made this movie and then went back to the dog shit, I would still be like, they're pretty good, Just because, he put out Saving Private Ryan. Gotta say something about that, So
As much as I've said about it, I can't say much more, man. I just love the movie.
it's great. It really is a deal where you just have to watch it, So.
For me, Saving Private Ryan was saving 1998.
It would have been a wash otherwise.
It really would have been.
I am excited because 1999's got some good stuff on the palette.
Tell me about it.
Do you want to hear some stuff?
Yeah.
We've got Varsity Blues, which I've never seen, actually. So there's that.
You've never seen Varsity Blues?
Never once have I seen Varsity Blues.
Well, there's some, those quotes I was talking about my buddy does to me?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of in this movie I know.
We've got some other good stuff. This is the first Brendan Fraser mummy movie to arise.
Okay.
We've got our first Star Wars movie to look forward to.
Oh, boy. Jar Jar Binks, here we come.
We got some Matrix to look forward to. The first one.
Right on.
We've got some Fight Club.
What?
So, yeah.
We got some movies.
Yeah, there could be a bunch of crap, but I could probably, because I haven't looked into it all that deep, but I could make a top 5 pretty quick, I'm thinking, So.
We got some contenders.
Yeah.
Just off your short little list you just gave us, yeah.
Which is weird. I wonder if these studios were waiting for the calendar year to end, because it's almost instantaneously jumps, in quality.
Let's not get too excited.
I'm sure there's, still your City of Angels. Oh, M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong does one next year.
Sixth Sense?
Yeah, a little movie you might have heard of. So.
Yeah, the best M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Easily, yeah. So there's good stuff. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to discussing my opinion on it with Mike here, with all you wonderful people out there. And I hope that you have a wonderful New Year.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year. We're still going to put out a regular episode tomorrow, though. So, on the 1st.
All right.
Yeah. And I think that might do it for me, my friend.
You know what? Hey, I just want to thank all of those who listened to us this first year of our podcast.
We thank you all the time, but we appreciate it.
We do. We do. All right. You're not making any money to listen to us talk. To be honest, we're not making any money to talk.
No.
But we're having a good time, and we do just enjoy talking for a little bit and having some of you guys tune in and exchange some dialogue, and we look forward to more of it.
Of course. Absolutely. I'm having a blast. So, but once again, Happy New Year, you guys, and we will see you in 2019.
But you didn't give us any of our social media stuff.
Oh, I didn't, did I? Look us up on YouTube, Casino Royale, W Cheese, one word. Same for iTunes, wherever you get your podcast from. Our Instagram, Casino Royale, W Cheese. Our Twitter, Casino Royale, WCH. Facebook, Casino Royale with Cheese. You can also email us at cheesymovie@yahoo.com if you have something you want to say. So, there we go.
There you go.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah.
We will see you next time.
Bye. Portions of this podcast might be previously recorded, also recorded in Tulsa, Oklahoma, not New York City. Bye.
I'll be back.